and I'm just really excited to finally be out here. Good afternoon, folks. It's not morning anymore. It's just another one of those days where I woke up with a big headache and just lazed around all morning till my headache went away. I mean, I took medication, but it involved a lot of lazing around as well. And fortunately, Tuck was really cooperative for that. Like, he was tired, so he lazed around with me. This is the Inyo range, and these mountains are 11,000 feet, which is pretty big. And they just go straight up, man. It's very impressive to be right at the base of them. Where we're camped actually is at the head of a canyon right here, which looks like a pretty cool canyon. It's called the McElvey Canyon. And apparently back in the day, a couple of brothers lived back that canyon and were beekeepers. Which is a totally unusual profession out here, but apparently that's what they did, because that canyon is like a little oasis in the desert. It has a stream flowing through it and waterfalls and all kinds of plant life and greenery, and I did contemplate going hiking that. In fact, my plan as of last night was to go hike that canyon, but the day is gone, and so we're not going to go hike that canyon. But for future reference, there are some cool canyons, and I could hike that canyon with a dog because it's not on Park Service land. But yeah, it's my enthusiasm for hiking the canyon is gone. While that canyon is a little oasis in the desert, we're headed to another oasis in the desert, which you can see out there. There's some palm trees way out in the distance, and that's where we're headed. It's actually fairly warm outside. It's probably around 70 degrees, and I think I'm ready to get moving. But one of the things I did while I was lazing around was kind of looked up some information about this area, because one, I have seen so many jets flying around, military jets, and that's because this area is used as a training spot for the military, and they're flying really low. And here's my little dude. Here's my little dude. Are you ready to get in the CAR? Go see some hot springs? Part of me just wants to stay here at this spot, but since I know that there's hot springs down the road, we're gonna go down the road. I didn't want to go down the road this morning because just bouncing on the washboards would have not made my head feel much better. And now I think it's time to go. Good boy. Go hop in the car. Good boy. Besides the military jets flying overhead pretty frequently, this national park actually has a few other kind of odd things for a national park. One, there's burros running around, which were escaped burros from miners in the area back in the day. This portion of the national park was actually BLM land for a long time, Bureau of Land Management, which is a lot looser on the rules. And it wasn't incorporated into the park until 1994, so a lot of goings-ons had already been happening here before it became part of the national park. And another of those is the hot springs. And the hot springs are kind of built up, and that was due to hippies in like the 60s, 70s, and 80s who improved the hot springs out here on what was then BLM land. And so it's a little bit unusual. It's a little bit unusual that the Park Service hasn't taken down the construction of the hot springs and that they haven't removed the burros from the land. They're just accepting these unusual kind of things in the national park. What do you think? You don't like the bumps, huh? It's a pretty bumpy road. At least on this part, it's just rocks and not washboards. We just turned off on the road to the hot springs. And yeah, it just looks like it's got whoop-de-doos, but no real washboards yet. So yay. There aren't good directions to get to these hot springs. Fortunately, I have the roads on Onyx maps, although Onyx doesn't have the hot springs actually pinpointed on them, but I could see them from the distance, so I knew where I had to go, and I have paper maps that have the hot springs on them. But the directions to get here are turn at the sand dunes. And we're not really at the sand dunes, so I think those directions weren't so great. And this road we've turned off on is a little less washboardy than the main road we were on. So there's that. That's good. We're driving through a large sand flat, and I'm assuming these shrubberies that I'm seeing are creosote bushes, but I'm not really familiar with them. But, huh. Yeah, they have a, what is the smell? They kind of smell woody and burnt and a little florally and bitter. That I don't know if that really describes them. But hang on, I still have my Starlink plugged in. So let's look it up. Starlink's going really slow. What's up with that? The internet says the smell is strong, earthy, and described as a smell of rain in the desert. Yeah. Pungent, herbaceous, woody, and intensely fresh. So, according to my Wikipedia searching, those are almost certainly creosote bushes. Apparently when they're flowering, it's a pretty intense smell that is pleasant. And really, I'm just getting that kind of slightly floral, woody, burnt, bitter smell from the leaves right now. And only when I get up really close to the leaves. All right, that's what I've learned for the day. These are creosote bushes, pretty much for sure. Other little tidbits I've learned about this area is that you can camp at the hot springs for free for up to 30 days, which is also very unusual in a national park. But they just kind of went with rules that were put in place by the BLM. It is so much nicer driving this road than the road I drove yesterday. I mean, there's some washboards here and there's some little whoop-de-doos, but I am not losing my marbles driving this road. I was not a happy camper with all the just miles and miles and miles and miles of constant washboard yesterday. It was not good. That probably contributed a bit to the headache I had this morning. I paused for just a moment to show you one of the features of this valley, and what makes it really cool to drive through here is that we are surrounded by mountains on all sides. Our hot springs are over there. We drove into the valley over here. We camped over there. And you can exit north that way, but there are mountains all the way around, big mountains. And that means that water that flows into this valley from the mountains or falls from the sky does not leave this valley. There's no way for water to leave this valley, so any water that does come in here evaporates out. And that's a special kind of valley called a endorheic. I'll put it up here. There's a word for it when you have a valley like this where water just evaporates out of it. And I suspect a lot of the valleys in Death Valley are like that. And here's another cool remnant from the BLM days that the Park Service just allows to stay, which is the bat sign. Just a cool random piece of art in the desert. People have put some stickers on there. That's cool. It's entirely wrapped in chain. And people have put locks on there. Oh, and it's like wrapped up in lights. I wonder if those lights actually still light up at night. And there's a piece of equipment. I don't know what that is. It's called the bat sign because they've got these two bats on there. That one says Bat Rock Road. It's really tall, so it's hard to show you this stuff at the top of the sign. It's got to be at least 15, 20 feet tall. And there's a bat in this little piece coming out, plus bats up there. Neat, just desert quirkiness. I love it. I was just about to tell you guys some stuff, and then I realized I left my glasses, my reading glasses, on the hood of the Jeep. I'm glad they didn't fall off. I carry like 4 pairs of reading glasses with me because I tend to do dumb things like leave them on the hood of my car. Fortunately, I was able to catch that pair. But what I was about to tell you guys before I got distracted by the sunglasses on my hood is that I'm just really excited to be going to these hot springs. These are like an iconic hot spring, an iconic hippie hot spring that has been on my bucket list for a really long time to get out here. And I'm just really excited to finally be out here. That's all I wanted to tell you guys. See that little pile of rocks out there? It's pointing the way to the airport. Small runway is probably more accurate. You can actually fly into here. I mean, if you have much more money than I do, you could fly into here. We are pulling into the hot springs area, and I've got to figure out how camping works here, where the camping spots are, where would be a good camping spot for us. There are 3 sets of hot springs. There's a lower, a middle, and an upper hot spring. And it looks like that might be a camping spot right there. But yeah, I've got to figure out where to camp. There's an informational sign up here, so I'm going to see if they have like a diagram of where the appropriate camping spots are. Looks like there might be plenty of places to camp. Okay, that sign is not helpful at all, but what a cool place. I'm gonna drive around and find a camp spot. What I'm looking for is a camp spot that is away from other people, but not so far away that it's a pain to walk to the hot springs. Although I don't mind a little walk. This is where we're going. This will do. That's, I think, the middle hot spring over there. And then the lower hot spring where we just drove in, pretty sure that's what that is. And you can't see it from here, but there's a 3rd hot spring way down there. And I aim to visit all 3. Sample them all. But first I'm gonna make some lunch because I am starving. I have solved my I need food immediately problem. We're having some hummus and pita and an apple. It's actually kind of warm out here. I might have to break out a short sleeve shirt. He thinks he's starving to death. You've actually had a good breakfast and lots of COOKIEs. I know, it doesn't seem like it, does it? It seems like you're starving. I feel a lot better now that I've had some lunch, and I'm gonna get the Jeep set up, and I think we're gonna hang out here for a few days and visit the hot springs one by one. Yeah, I think that's the plan. And I'll see you guys down at the hot springs. You see it in the industry. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. You need the belly rubs. Yeah, I need the belly rubs. It's important. All right, back to belly rubs. Back to belly rubs. Okay guys, here's the middle oasis. And there's 2 pools here. One is supposed to be like extra, extra hot, and one just hot. So we're gonna check them both out. Oh, that's quite warm. It's pretty early in the morning, so both tubs are empty at the moment. But there are a fair number of people out here. Here's the second tub in this little oasis, and you can see the heat radiating off of it. And some people who camped right next to it. Don't camp right next to the hot springs. What a cool tub. I think this one is called the Volcano. Oh, that's really nice. Even though it's really remote, this is a pretty popular hot spring. The whole hot spring area. There's probably 20 different cars here right now. But nobody's stirring this early in the morning, so I have this to myself. And I think we might go over and soak in the other pool because this is nice, but it's not as warm as I thought it was going to be. But look at my view. That's amazing. We're walking over to the first one because I think that's much warmer and going to be nicer for my muscles. This is the level of warm I want on a cool morning. The temperature is quite lovely. Almost too hot, but not quite. And here is our setting. This lovely little oasis in the desert. Little hot oasis in the desert. The other pool is right over there. All of the stuff you see built around here was not built by the Park Service. It existed here a long time before the Park Service did. It was a bunch of California hippies in the 70s and 80s who came out here and were living out here and developed these hot springs on public land, and they did a really good job. Gotta sit up on the bench for a minute because I'm getting extra toasty. But, this is amazing. We've got our little palm tree oasis right there. And the sun's coming up and shining on the mountains. And there's nobody here at my little hot tub right now. Could not get any more perfect than this. Are you bored? Are you really bored? Yeah. This is like in a what is somewhat unusual for a government hot spring, National Park Service hot spring, is that this is clothing optional. And the fact that the Park Service kept this clothing optional when they took over this piece of land is really interesting and really good. I think that's fantastic. Now, for video purposes, I'm not going clothing optional because in the last video, discovered what a pain in the butt it is to try to edit out parts. But it's clothing optional if you come here. I think I am a little extra toasty now, so let's go walk down the road so that Tuck can get a good morning walk. And we're gonna check out the farthest out hot spring, which hasn't been developed and is a wild spring. There is a caretaker for these hot springs, and it's just a dude who lives out here. And I don't know if the Park Service actually pays him or not, but he's allowed to live out here year-round and takes care of the hot springs. And they've got a little dishwashing station. Oh, I might come take my actual shower here. This is just piped from the hot spring. Let's see what kind of a flow we get. Oh, that's decent. Oh, it's still cold because it's coming through the pipe. It's warming up. You could take a full-fledged shower out here in the middle of the desert. I mean, you might have an audience, but that's fine. You can kind of tell how far apart these places are because this is the middle hot spring and those palm trees in the distance are the lower hot spring. That's not terribly far though, but the next one, which is the upper hot spring, is about a mile walk. And Tuck needs that walk. So we are walking to the upper hot spring. So just up from there is the source pool, and that's going to be boiling your skin off hot. And I didn't notice this pool before. It's very handily labeled that this is another source pool. Oh, here comes the sun. And according to the guidebook, these hot springs I'm walking to, the upper hot springs, are supposed to be a mile walk. It's more than a mile. I for sure walked a mile already, and I can see the hot springs, but we aren't there yet. We're almost there. You can tell because of the palm trees. There's a big fence around this one. Here's the gate. But there is a big fence around this. I assume to keep out the burros. That would make the most sense. Let's check out these pools. Oh, that's super nice. Oh, that's a good temperature for after a long walk. This one definitely has the strongest sulfur smell to it, which I don't mind. But it is in your own little quiet, private paradise. Oh, this one is certainly my favorite. Probably because it's very private. Nobody else is walking all the way out here. You can drive out here, but nobody's camping by this one. They're by the social hot springs. This is the lower hot spring, and it's kind of the social oasis. And I can hear people's voices in it, even though I'm here really early in the morning. So I'm going to have to be kind of stealth and about filming, because you don't want to film other people. And hopefully I can show you guys some of it. There are 4 tubs in the lower hot springs, and they're all filled with people this morning. And so what I think I'm going to do is go down there when I can and film bits and pieces of the area for you whenever I can, so that you can see it, because it's really neat. But I don't want to be intruding upon other people's spaces with my camera. There's a beautiful little grassy area where you could have a picnic, and they have a couple of picnic tables and places for you to wash your dishes, which we're going to do. This oasis is really set up to be a communal space to be shared by everybody. This is the tub that doesn't flow with water anymore. And this is my favorite tub. It's surrounded by a pond. But when you turn the valve to fill the tub, it's not filling. And that's a bummer because it's a great little tub and it only fits one person. So you could have, bright sun, your own private little nook back here, but it won't fill. And this pond is awesome. And it's filled with all kinds of little fishies. I don't know what kind of fish those are. And this is the main pool of this area. And it has a little sun canopy over top of it, plus it's shaded by the beautiful palms. And I love the detail in the crystals here. That's so cool. I just noticed they've got agates set into the rim of the pool. And there's canine footprints in the concrete. And this is another little one-person tub right next to the shower. This shower head is really low to the ground, so you would have to sit on this board to actually get showered. There are just so many small touches all over the place that make this place very homey, very welcoming. It's really awesome. And everywhere you look, there's just more little fun details. Like this little bat ornament. I need one of those for my Christmas tree. This is Igor. I love him. And then there's a little sitting and fire pit area. A cool pole. And more bats. I love how they used the logs as kind of a back wall. And more wind chimes and just stuff hanging around. And a table of precious things. What is this? Oh, it's a free little library. That's awesome. Keep doors closed. Burros like books. Burros eat books. This is the kitchen area, and they provide you with soap and scrubbers and all you need. There are actually a fair number of people back here today. Which I'm surprised about because it's noon. Maybe they had the same thought I did, and that I didn't think many people would be here because it's the middle of the day, but there, it is what it is. Still needed to get my dishes done. And I have this tub all to myself for the moment. Yay! This tub is particularly warm. And there were people occupying it earlier this morning, but I'm very happy to find it all to myself. And they've surrounded the tub by these great little benches that were just made from materials that they found on site. And some concrete. I could sit here for a while. Are you bored already? Yeah. Tuck is not the only dog that's wandering around here. It's quite dog friendly. Really also another thing that's just super unusual in a national park. This is by far the most amazing hot spring that I have ever been to. I mean, it ain't easy to get out here, but it's well worth it. And I think that's it for today, guys. And I want to thank you all for coming along with me. It's amazing that you're coming along with me. And if you've made it this far in the video and you're not a subscriber yet, maybe you should subscribe. We're going to have a lot more adventures down the road. I'll see you guys next time.